finally, the final installment of the Karuizawa Geisha series has been announced and released. It's the Platinum Geishas, and the ballot's already been opened and closed, and they are an amazing, sensational, beautiful set of whiskies. Now, we're not going to do too much of a deep dive into the history of the series because we've already done a video about this, which you can go and look back on the channel. We'll put a link up here too if you want to go and watch it. But the series has been running for 10 years, and there's been, you know, a lineup of beautiful bottles. You've got the first geishas, and they're kind of notable because they're the ones that have a full-length geisha on rather than just a head as the rest of the series do. Then you go to the Acre geishas, the Golden geishas, the Emerald geishas, the Murasaki geishas, the Pearl geishas, the Sapphire geishas, the Ruby geishas, and then finally we have now got the Platinum geishas. Now, the whiskey in these Platinum Geishas are the oldest Karuizawa whiskies that have appeared in the Geisha series. So there's a 38 and a 40-year-old in this series, limited to 129 bottles and 219 bottles, priced at £25,000 and £30,000 respectively. Now, from a personal perspective, I love everything about this Geisha series. The design, the execution and everything is really sublime. And what I find really beautiful about it is the fact that they don't necessarily use expensive products. The bottles are the Glencairn Supreme bottles, which are say £5 or £6 each, but they're really nice. They're really heavy, they're really nicely presented. The labels, there's no etching on this bottle. It's a standard printed label, but with embossing, with foiling and spot UV and things like that. So the execution and the concept of the design is stunning, and full credit to the team at Elixir. And it just all pulls together in a beautiful series. So the obvious question here then is sort of like, what's their investment potential? Because this is what we always get asked. As soon as releases like this get announced, the phone goes off and everybody's sort of saying, oh, should I buy the geishas and should I join the ballot? Well, first things first, do you like the bottles? Can you afford to buy them and forget about the money that you've just spent on them? And well, yeah, if the answer to those two questions is yes, then of course you should go and buy them. But there's a lot of people that will look at these and they think they've seen the historic trends in whiskey investment and they thought, bloody hell, there's a good chance of a flip here. But is there? Let's take a bit of a considered look at this. So if we go back to sort of like some of the more recently releases, if we go back to 2010 and the release of the Sapphire Geishas, these were released at £12,500 and £15,000 a bottle. Since then, the 31-year-old has averaged at auction £12,500. The 36 has done slightly better and averaged at £17,630. However, those results are slightly skewed because there was one result recently for £35,500 and the majority of those bottles have been at £20,000. So it's interesting. The Sapphires have not on previous form showed a big margin. Well, what about the Rubies? The Rubies were released in 2021 and they are bloody gorgeous as well. They were released at £18,000 and £20,000 this time. And the average price for the 34 has been £18,600. And for the other one, it was being £22,000. So small margins. Now, this is the gist of it, people. Sekinder and the team at Elixir really know how to price these bottles. As you can see from the average pricings across the board and across the history of the last two releases, there's been very little money in the flipping. Sure, if you want to be that person who talks about how much they've earned on gambling and never talk about the losses, yes, there's been some spectacular returns at auction and you could have made £15,000. But if you look on the averages, there has been a very small margin in them. So if you want to buy these with your credit card in the hope that you're going to flip them and make a quick profit, like why? Why are you doing that? You're taking it away from somebody who's going to hold on to that bottle and love it in their collection. And more importantly, you're probably not going to make that much money from it. It poses a big risk and everyone's wise to this game now. So does that mean that you shouldn't buy them? Absolutely not. They are sensationally designed bottles. I absolutely love them. Just everything about them is absolutely amazing. The whiskey is amazing, the design's amazing, and yeah, let's put it here, the pricing from retail is amazing. There's not many releases of whiskey of this caliber that come out that are priced absolutely spot on, but these have been priced absolutely spot on. So it's quite a short video. Should you go and buy them? Yes, if you love them and you want to hold them for a long-term investment, I think these will be a fantastic investment in the 5, 10, 20 year time frame. But please people, don't go out there and buy them and try and flip them. That game's old. Come on.